Hi, my name is Dorian Ford and I am a student at Grand Canyon University. This video is our final video for my amazing EDU 558 class, which is our Crisis Management and Intervention class, and our professor is Dr. Milner. Have had an amazing time in this class, but we're going to jump right into this assignment. Now, this is our liability mitigation strategies assignment. So I'm going to walk through or go through some policies and things of that sort when it comes to liability and mitigation strategies. So the first part I want to talk about is I want to discuss some laws that apply to crisis management on campus that would mitigate the liability to student affairs professionals. So we have had the opportunity to study about several laws, but when reading that, the first laws that come to my mind are FERPA is the Family Education Right and Privacy Act, and it protects students for their records, right? Their educational records. So that means although you're grown, but you may be still being taken care of by your parents, no matter if your parents are footing the bill, if a student's parent is footing the bill for school, their educational rights, their records, their grades are all protected by FERPA. So no family moms can't call in and get information on student records because they're protected by FERPA. Also, student affairs professionals should really know what they're doing when it comes to FERPA because it could be easily broken. For instance, if you're encouraging Sally to do good on her work, you won't say, well, Brian has a C in this class, and I know if Brian can do it, you can do it, Sally. No, you can't do that because what you have done is you just violated Brian's FERPA with Sally. So FERPA was one of the first ones that came to mind. Title IX. Title IX is another big one that comes to mind. Title IX is basically regulations ensuring the proper response to any incident that involves sexual harassment, assault, or discrimination on a campus. FERPA is really good, but Title IX is amazing as well. Student affairs professionals definitely need to be aware of this particular law because students most times are going to come to the student affairs professional to report this type of incident, but it's very important to know how to handle it, to know what agencies to incorporate, to move forward, to ensure that we are involving and handling those specific situation as diligently and as fast as possible. So that next law that came to mind for me was definitely the Title IX. HIPAA is another law that came to mind. Now, we don't deal with this one as much on the collegiate level. We kind of do, but this is more so for medical, but it can definitely affect us. HIPAA is a federal law that requires us to have sensitivity when it comes to patient health. Right? Patient health information. So while this may be relevant to us as a student affairs professional, say for instance, there may be an STD breakout on campus. We have to inform the campus. However, we have to make sure that we are following all HIPAA rules and things of that sort. Say for instance, if there was a COVID outbreak or things of that sort. We've been dealing with COVID here recently. Even in a pandemic, we have to be very cautious on ensuring that we are not sharing that medical information of our students because we would be violating the HIPAA laws. HIPAA is another law that came to mind. Now, we don't deal with this one as much on the collegiate level. We kind of do, but this is more so for medical, but it can definitely affect us. HIPAA is a federal law that requires us to have sensitivity when it comes to patient health. Right? Patient health information. So while this may be relevant to us as a student affairs professional, say for instance, there may be an STD breakout on campus. We have to inform the campus. However, we have to make sure that we are following all HIPAA rules and things of that sort. Say for instance, if there was a COVID outbreak or things of that sort. We've been dealing with COVID here recently. Even in a pandemic, we have to be very cautious on ensuring that we are not sharing that medical information of our students because we would be violating the HIPAA laws. All right, so how does one respond ethically to a crisis to achieve satisfactory resolution for all stakeholders? Well, I think the most important thing to do here is to respond ethically. Use those ethical practices. You want to use the ethical principles like honesty, integrity, fairness, and respect. If we approach every situation like that, I think the stakeholders will definitely appreciate that. Another part is transparency. We have to communicate openly and honestly with every aspect that's going on with the university. Collaboration is also a big thing. You want to collaborate because although it's one university, it takes many different departments, entities, and organizations to make it all flow smoothly. And lastly, just effective problem solving. If there's a problem, come up with a literal solution, but not just a solution that's going to cure this issue for just a moment, but we are looking for a long. All right, let's talk cross-functional teams that should be notified based on crisis. So as we've been talking through the video, the campus works with all organizations, departments throughout the campus. Some of those cross-functional teams that should be notified in case of crisis is, of course, our health medical emergency team, campus security, campus health services, if need be, local emergency staff, student affairs should be notified. If it's a public relations situation, there might be something where public relations have to get involved, maybe some media involved and things of that sort. We may need to incorporate facilities. That's another cross-functional team that we would need to work with. I said campus security, local law enforcement as well. And maybe even our IT department, but definitely those departments would be the main. SOPs are standard operating protocols for the student affairs department. Can pretty much vary depending on the size of the school and all sorts of different things. But just some commonality, just a brief overview of some of the different operating protocols that most departments usually have. They all usually have a crisis management protocol. Pretty much why we have this important class. Knowing how to manage crisis is very, very important. Communication plans, knowing the roles and responsibilities of the staff and the students. Discipline and conduct. It's also going to be some SOPs in a student affairs department. Activities and events, also another really, really big part that accounts for steps, planning, and organizing. Housing and residential life is also another good part. And the specific follow-up that I think should happen is basically ongoing support and recovery. We should assess the crisis afterwards. After assessing the crisis, I think it's important to create a recovery plan. After we create that recovery plan, it's important to maintain consistent communication with the students to ensure that they're working their recovery plan, and to also let them know and let them see that they have someone who supports them consistently and who's in their court. Definitely during that process, I would praise for their progress, all while upholding their accountability, because we don't want to crutch them. We definitely want to uphold that accountability and overall document everything. Last but certainly not least, how would I maintain professionalism, transparency, and confidentiality within student crisis management culture and consider local, national, and global trends? I will follow the rules. I will follow the law and apply the golden rule. That's what I would do. I think doing those two things, applying all of the laws that we talked about, the FERPA, HIPAA, Title IX, by following all of those laws, and by, simply treating people how I want to be treated, applying those rules and principles that we've talked about before, those are the things that I would do to maintain professionalism, continue to offer transparency, document everything, and just treat the situation how I would want to be handled and treated.